Oh, you all are here. This is me, Ishita Day, from class 11th A on the other side of your screen. Whenever the word education comes into our mind, the first thing that strikes us is schools and classrooms with students sitting on benches and listening to explanation on board. But today, the whole scenario has changed completely. Everything is on our fingertips, from books to classes. Just a single touch and everything you will get right at the moment. In our primary classes, we used to read stories in our textbooks about the time in future where schools would vanish and everything would be computer operated. It was far behind anyone's imagination that it would be surely true and in such a small span of time. Owing to the outbreak of COVID-19, the change occurred very fast. Till last year, the definition of education was very well established in our minds. The conventional form of studying, learning, and writing exams. Although we had brainstorming sessions wherein we discussed how the practical aspect of knowledge could be put into use and how the concepts related to the topic could be strengthened. But much work wasn't done on that. With COVID-19 spreading across the whole world and becoming a pandemic, it became essential for us to shift to a new mode of learning. You cannot define today's education as just online classes. Rather, it is the summation of a large number of experiences, experiments, and of course, a new insight into pedagogy. Even after the pandemic is vanishing in most parts of India, we are now not just limited to the use of classroom teaching, but have integrated the practical aspect of knowledge so nicely that surely not the future generation, but the present generation's education is the change we wished to see in future. Thank you.
What if, when there was no education today at all? What if when there was no one to force you to study? Hello dear viewers, this is Anushka Srivastava of class 11A and I am going to express my views on the topic education today. Coming back to the situation that when there was no education today at all, then many of you would think that life would be easy, right? Actually, no. Probably then there would be no difference between a human being and an animal. You might notice there is a word coming every then and now here is education. You all must be familiar to this word. But what is correct definition of education? It is something beyond degrees. It is more than bookish knowledge. It means inculcating values and positive thoughts. While most of you confuse it with literacy, which only means the ability to read and write. And when I talk about education today, then it is way different from those done in early times. Government policies made in 90s are giving positive and beneficial results today. In present scenario, government policies and missionaries are helping a lot in education. Government is providing minimum fees, education loans, midday meals, and even under some government policies, government employees are going door to door in order to make each child educated. Earlier, we used to listen a common complaint that education should include more and more technologies and computers in it. But this wonder year, 2020 as I call it, has satisfied all the discontent of people. This taught us that education can be carried out through online mode, through laptops, computers, smartphones and whatever. But everything has a flip side situation. Education in present time with lots of merits have some demerits too, like overburden on child, precarious position of child and lack of skill development. But however, one cannot ignore the positive effect of education. At last, I want to end my speech by saying that education is passport for future, belongs to only those who prepare for it today. Thank you.
Good morning everyone. Today I, Khushi Mittal of class 11B, is going to speak on the topic education today. Education is an important aspect which plays a vital role in our day-to-day life. People need an excellent education to survive in this competitive world. Education is a part and parcel of life which is must for leading a happy life. The Indian education system is quite an old system which is reforming slowly. It produces many brilliant minds every year. India has produced many famous mathematicians, doctors, astronomers, writers and many other professionals. They have already proved their knowledge in many fields throughout the world. However, with the advancement in technology, we need to understand the need for replacing our education system. Let me throw some light on the current scenario in India. The conventional education system needs to be blamed, which lack reforms. There are many reasons due to which it is not prospering with time. That is, weak grading system that judges the intelligence of child on just a piece of paper. This is unfair as single examination determines the whole career of the student. Due to this, some children are more interested in fetching marks in examination instead of their overall development. It also encourages unethical practices like cheating in exams. Mugging of subjects without understanding concept is one of the outcomes of this type of education system. Examinations are proved to be a burden on the students. Education must be like exploring things instead of focusing on getting marks. The Indian education system focuses more on theory instead of giving practical experiences. Now, the question arises how the system can be improved. Unnecessary work must not be given to the students. They must be involved in intensive learning programs instead of boring lectures. They must be judged based on their overall development instead of marks in examination. Computer-assisted education must be imparted in the schools all over India. More practical experiences with skill development must be incorporated into the education system. Many policies have been already reformed by our government to overcome the drawbacks of the current system. So the beginning is already here, but we have a long way to go. Thank you.
Education should not be about learning the facts. It should be creative to think outside the box. Honorable dignitaries, respected teachers and my dear friends, a very good morning to one and all. I, Anshika Bajpayee of class 11C, got the golden opportunity to speak on the topic education today. Let us start with a basic question. What kind of output that we really want from education system? Education can make people easy to lead but difficult to drive. Also, it makes easy to govern but impossible to enslave. This is true that without education a man is shade better than an animal. Thus, true education is a drawing out of mental facilities and it is essential for leading a happy life. It is a fact that our education system in India is not best one, but lack of reforms and improvements are making it quite boring and ineffective. Students are not taking much interest in studies. There are many factors that are leading this problem of student disinterest in education. The most burdensome aspect of our education system is focusing only on books and paperwork. I just wonder why schools are not making education system paper free. All tasks in education system should be totally computerized. Many policies have been introduced by our government to overcome the drawbacks of our education system. Therefore, it is a great beginning. Although education come a long way and has still we need do a lot more in the coming time. There should be a foolproof system to track students commuting to the school. The sensors in the identity card are capable to send automatic SMS to the parent confirming the arrival of their children at the school. Also, teachers must make learning experience very thrilling at school. Education is much more charming and intriguing than the temptation of distraction unnecessary. Our education policy maker must look into the problem to make a better system that is more practical and provides hand and having learning to the students. This was due to a lack of true education system. We should not allow this to happen again, and this is possible only when by having a suitable and perfect education system. The true education system would be indeed make us master our destiny. Thank you and have a nice day.